It's the biggest popular arts convention on the planet. I'm Stepanie Simmons, and this is the backstory of San Diego Comic-Con and the Comic-Con Museum. I'm here with Dr. Emily Schindler with the Comic-Con Museum. This place is amazing, and you're extra busy around Comic-Con. So tell us all about what we're about to see, and this is a great precursor to the actual event.
Yeah, so this is our cover story exhibit, and to the extent that we have a history exhibit of Comic-Con, this is it. This is the art from our program and souvenir guides throughout the years. It starts in 1970 with Jack Kirby's cover, and it continues all the way to today.
Okay, so walk us through what we're seeing here. And anyone who's a Comic-Con fan is a Jack Kirby fan.
I mean, I don't want to make any assumptions, but yes, most comic fans recognize the significance of Jack Kirby, and it's very special that he was so involved in the beginning of Comic-Con. So for example, we have the first cover of the program guide here, and it is, relatively simple, but when you think about, this is the person who invented how Spider-Man looks, and Thor, and Black Panther, and all of the characters that we know and love today from like the MCU, for example.
The ones who
started here
stood the test of time over the decades.
Correct. Yes.
So he's behind all of this. Now, we know a lot of the comic books that we will see at Comic-Con go for thousands of dollars. It's
true.
Astronomical.
Yes.
If somebody were to come into the museum and say, okay, you're going to say not for sale, but if they were to say, how much? How much for this right here?
I mean,
it's priceless.
Priceless. Except the difference is that, well, actually, this is not a huge difference from comic books, but people came and they were there and they got these programs distributed, and so you couldn't buy them. That makes these very, very special because they are something that is a symbol of participation, which is what Comic-Con is all about.
And a huge deal that we have it here in San Diego and fans get to come and see it.
It's unbelievable.
News 8 has been covering Comic-Con since it first started in San Diego back in 1970. Let's look back at some of our coverage over the decades.
This year's conclave has a little of everything to offer, with discussions and exhibits focusing on comic books, comic strips, science fiction, fantasy, and the age of chivalry. Guest speaker for the three-day event is former San Diegan Bob Clampett, creator of the popular cartoon characters Bugs Bunny, Tweety Pie, and Cecil the Seasick Sea Serpent. Clampett explained the sources of inspiration for those characters.
What about the idea for Tweety Pie?
Well, actually, the design of Tweety was, I had a baby picture my mother had up when I was a child of me in the nude with big blue eyes, the little cheeks, and nothing on. I always hated that, and so when I designed Tweety the first time, it was actually a satire on my own baby picture.
Clampett and other noted cartoonists will be taking part in discussions and lectures through Sunday. Cartoon and science fiction movies will also be shown.
The San Diego convention opened yesterday, and already it's in high gear. Shel Dorf, founder of the local get-together of comic book buffs, says this week may break all attendance records. Superheroes are everywhere, but so are customers. And that's one major reason for the convention: share and share alike, for a profit, of course. If a 1946 issue of Donald Duck in fine condition can bring $150, it's only natural that the first Donald Duck comic, drawn by artist Carl Bark in 1942, would go for just $850.
The convention offers many enthusiasts the chance to buy vintage comic books. Those that appeared first back in the late 30s are considered from the Golden Age. They command prices from $100 to several $1,000s. It's incredible since they only cost 10 cents before 1961. Convention organizers agree that science fiction has given comics a shot in the arm, and Star Wars made moviegoers stop to buy comics of the same name. But it's the fun of real space characters, and toy ones, that captures the imagination of all ages. With remote control in hand, you too can beep your way into a war on a distant planet and be home in time for dinner.
That's the Talk about a way to escape reality for a while. The annual comic convention offered plenty of out-of-this-world excitement, including far-out comic books, souvenirs, and even futuristic-looking Star Wars computer games. Many were there just to expand their comic book collections, while others were there just to gaze at the galaxy of characters on hand. Yes, fans, a full-blown invasion of wild creatures has arrived at the community concourse for the annual comic convention. And you're right, sponsors tell us this year's convention is bigger and better than ever. For lovers of comic books, movie posters, and other assorted pieces of trivia, this is paradise.
I saw the line outside. I got to skip it, but people are waiting in the heat to be in here. If they had just 20 minutes quickly to spend in here, what is the first thing they need to see?
I mean, I have to direct them here. Honestly, like, I want them to see our history and who we are. This floor is shaping up to be a celebration of not just Comic-Con, but the Comic-Con Museum and why we need a museum to begin with.
Now, do you have traveling exhibits as well? You have your staples and then sometimes some pop-ups. Tell us about those.
We do. So Comic-Con Museum was envisioned not to have a private collection, and that was on purpose from a museuming perspective. And so instead, what we try to do is rotate our exhibits so that we are giving the feeling of something new and exciting and unexpected every single time you come to the Comic-Con Museum, similar to how you experience Comic-Con.
Okay, besides this, what do you personally, because you're an aficionado, what do you geek out about that, oh my goodness, I'm so lucky to work here, I cannot believe we have this piece in our museum?
So my favorite permanent or semi-permanent exhibit is our Art of the Masquerade exhibit. So I hope we get to go and take a look at some of those, because that is both fan and professional cosplay. And so these are beautiful constructions of fabric that I love to see. I do love fashion and textiles. And then for a traveling exhibit, I'm a big Doctor Who fan. We currently have Doctor Who Worlds of Wonder. It is a US premiere. It features all 17 original Doctor costumes, as well as several companion costumes which have just been added, and it is a collaboration with the BBC.
And you can just see the love behind all of it. Can we see some of those pieces?
Yes, I can't wait to show you.
This room is remarkable, and we've just stepped in.
Yeah, it's honestly one of my favorite places in the museum. I love to bring people of all ages in here and talk through all of the different pieces that we've got. So, for example, do you know who this is?
You're gonna have to tell me.
This is
Princess Zelda. Oh, the cartoon.
Yes,
okay.
From the video game Zelda.
I didn't look at the headpiece first. I should have known.
Yes,
I should have known. My son's 10.
Oh, wonderful. Well, your son, I mean, I hope he'll come back and visit with us.
Oh, the kids would love that this age, and even adults as well, right?
Yes, it is nostalgic. Like for me, I'm wearing my Game Boy earrings today because I grew up on Nintendo, and so Zelda is a character who's, rendered in 8-bit in the 90s, right? And then you come to a piece like this, which is fan created. So
remarkable. Do they have to enter some sort of contest to be
can.
featured here?
Yes.
How does a fan get their work here?
A fan can just reach out to us. Honestly, they can just email our general email address and say, I have this costume, and would you be interested in taking a look at it?
And this is made by hand?
That's correct.
Incredible. And
yes. And also worn at the convention.
Wow.
So
this will be worn by someone at the convention?
It has been already.
Okay.
Yeah. And this year when you attend, you'll see just tremendous levels of artistry.
People spend thousands of dollars.
Yes, and hours and hours and hours of time.
Yes.
And so
I was not prepared to bring an outfit. I only had a cape, and it just wasn't going to do. What about this one?
So this one is a really exciting piece because this was on display in the Her Universe Fashion Show. The Her Universe Fashion Show is a fashion show hosted by Her Universe, which was founded by Ashley Eckstein. So Her Universe is a brand that people might be familiar with. They make kind of chic, ready-to-wear nerd fashion. And so if you are a fan of Lord of the Rings, you might be able to get a really cute dress from Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
And that sort of thing. So
Move over Christian Dior.
That's
Okay,
right.
we have nerd fashion 2026.
well, this is the level of couture that gets created at the Her Universe Fashion Show. So
Incredible.
last year's was sponsored by Universal, and it was themed around Universal properties. This is the grandmother from Shrek. And I don't know if you've seen that movie with your 10-year-old. However, this is the fairy godmother. And this piece was actually worn in the fashion show, walked the runway.
Incredible.
In a production that is really unparalleled.
Is this Sleeping Beauty?
It is!
Oh, see, this is the other component of this that is so fun because, you know, kids love this stuff.
Yeah.
But as parents, it takes us back to our childhood and it just brings us right back there to
Yes.
the 80s and the 90s. And
Yeah.
this is so special. And for people who don't know, there's a reason why her dress is two different colors.
Do you remember?
I do! The fairy godmothers are fighting at the end.
Yes.
And so it's magic wand. One wanted blue, one wanted pink, right?
Exactly. And that was, I grew up watching that movie as well, but what you're describing is a really important aspect of Comic-Con, which is that we are intergenerational. So for instance, your son might not know about Sleeping Beauty. Maybe he's not a fan of the movie. You might not know about Shrek, but what it does is it gives us the opportunity to share that information across the generational divides. It is about belonging. You know, fandom hasn't always, especially popular arts fandom, hasn't always been embraced in the mainstream as it is now. And so kind of the origins of Comic-Con are really giving places for people to connect over the things they love. Whatever that is, if that's Star Trek, if that's, you know, X-Men, if that's Disney, whatever it is, if it's something anime, manga, stuff that, you know, maybe others where you live are not familiar with, cons are places where people can belong.
One of the things I want to ask about the actual event, though, because it's exploded in popularity.
Sure.
Now, people will wait all day and come one, come all here, which is great. It's so wonderful, and it is extra special that people could come here before and then be well informed before they go to the event.
Absolutely.
But the badge,
Yeah.
as I'm hearing this for the first time, getting that badge for the event is like winning an Oscar. How do you get the badge?
The best way right now to get a badge is through our Legend membership. It is in fact the only way to get a badge to Comic-Con in 2026. So it is a membership to the museum. It's pricey, it's $1,900, but for that cost you support the museum, it's tax deductible, and you get a 4-day plus preview night badge to the museum that auto renews, which I think is the most important part, because that means that you get to skip all of that badge registration. The other best way to get a badge to Comic-Con is to volunteer. Comic-Con has a giant volunteer history. It was, you know, it started all volunteer and didn't even have employees until the early 90s. And so they really treat their volunteers, you know, well, and that's a great way to get into the show.
Even if you're not headed to Comic-Con 2026, fans love to immerse themselves in their favorite shows. We'll be right back to check out the Doctor Who exhibit.
So I hear the music. This sounds like a very exciting exhibit. What are we about to walk into?
We are heading into Doctor Who Worlds of Wonder, a collaboration with the BBC. We're walking through the doors of the TARDIS, which is Doctor Who's spaceship. And what you see here are all 17 original costumes of the actors who have played Doctor Who throughout the years. This is the only time that they have been together yet, and this exhibit is a US premiere. Here we have our newest additions, which are the Doctor's Companions, some of the Doctor's Companions. I don't know how much you know about Doctor Who, but it is the longest running science fiction show on television.
This is spectacular for fans. You can get right up close and take pictures with these outfits.
That is
It's not even behind glass.
Yes, this is one of my favorite things about our museum, is that our display practices include allowing people to really get close to the objects, which isn't always the case and can't always be the case in other museums. But for us, we love to make sure that fans are able to be close, obviously safely, so that we're protecting the objects, but that way people can feel like there's something to come and see and to be in the presence of.
Which outfit is most special to you?
Oh boy, well, I mean,
Can you show us?
a very common question in Doctor Who fandom is who's your doctor? So because you can see that, you know, starting with William Hart now, this spans 60 years of viewership. So who is your doctor means who did you first see, but it can also mean who is your favorite? Who do you most relate to?
Well, we know who our favorite doctor is, Dr. Schindler. Who's your doctor? Is Dr. Schindler for us.
So my first doctor is the 10th Doctor, David Tennant, and my favorite doctor is the 12th Doctor, Peter Capaldi. And you can see their outfits are really distinct and different, but they're all very warm because this show shoots in Wales and in England. And so for cosplay, I always, you know, have a special place in my heart for the Doctor Who cosplayers at San Diego Comic-Con because
They're devoted.
Well, they're wearing really warm clothing.
That gentleman has 2 or 3 coats and several ties as well.
Absolutely.
We appreciate the passion.
We suffer for the art, right?
Leather, yes. In the middle of summer in San Diego, that's bold.
Exactly. This is a TARDIS console. So as I said, this room is built to look like the inside of Doctor Who's spaceship, which, by the way, is bigger on the inside than on the outside. We can talk about the physics of that as we go through the rest of the exhibit because it's also a science exhibit. And this is the control panel for the TARDIS.
So tell us about the museum in general and how it's grown over the last few years, because considering how long Comic-Con's been in San Diego, the museum has not been open that long.
That is true, yeah. So we started with, you know, how I imagine Comic-Con started with, like, you know, a lot of dedication and a dream. And it has grown to the point where now we're, you know, able to host an exhibit like this, which, you know, is a partnership with BBC, one of the largest media companies in the world, with, you know, screen used props and objects, so that we are making sure that not only are we, you know, bringing objects like this to our local audience, the people who have supported San Diego Comic-Con from the beginning, but that we're also making sure that we extend that learning so that they can have it all. This is a particularly ingenious example of curation. Go ahead and open this.
Are we ready? Scared? This, I imagine, is a fan favorite.
Yes, even if you don't know who any of these monsters are or characters are, you can tell that this is a remarkable cabinet. One of my favorite things to do is to bring children down here and have them have that reveal experience, and it changes what they think can be in a museum.
Maybe nightmares about Whisper Man.
Hopefully not, but it will definitely be memorable.
I'm gonna have a nightmare about Whisper Man, but very realistic. This guy, he looks a bit sweaty.
It's actually water. He's drowning from the inside. So he is an alien who is drowning on the inside and tries to get other humans also to do so.
Okay. He just needs a nap.
Yeah.
We're gonna let him sleep.
Probably.
Even if you're not planning on attending Comic-Con this year, you can still be a part of the fun. Not every Comic-Con experience requires a badge. There are several activation sites, which are basically free interactive experiences for the public put on by movie and TV studios. They have photo ops, free food, and swag, and all sorts of cool activities. No need to head to the convention center. You'll find those activations anywhere from Petco Park to the Gaslamp Quarter. And if you do have your heart set on going to the main event, a reminder from Dr. Schindler. Look into volunteering or think about purchasing a Legend Pass from the Comic-Con Museum. The museum's also a great way to get involved year-round. They do field trips, love showing off fan art, and have tons of rotating exhibits celebrating comic books, science fiction, film, television, anime, gaming, and cosplay, along with the artists, writers, and fans who helped build Comic-Con into a global phenomenon.
So there you have it, a quick sneak peek inside the only Comic-Con museum in the entire world. How lucky are we to have this here in San Diego? I'm Stepanie Simmons, and this is The Backstory.